Good afternoon, Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn. It's Friday afternoon, October 2nd, probably about 5 in the afternoon. Here to get you your NFL picks for this weekend, or at least Sunday, and into the Monday night game. I did the Sunday games, so we've been doing okay. You know, I love my subscribers. Oh, and let me welcome my 37th subscriber, whoever you are. Thanks, appreciate it. Hopefully we won't let you down. But I got a message from one of my subscribers who said, you've been hot in the NFL. I think we've won 6 out of 9 or something. So we have lenient subscribers. That's cool. I like that. Low bar. I like a low bar. So that's good. Well, I guess we got to address this latest news. I mean, as I was shooting the video late last night or early this morning, it was being announced to the world that the president and the first lady have the COVID virus. What's this mean? Apparently, he is symptomatic. He is showing symptoms now. I don't know you're ever going to really know how symptomatic he is until if and when they put him in the hospital. Now I can only address this from how I see it. How does this affect me? Because obviously Trump is, how some people see Trump is totally different than the way I see Trump. I think Trump should win the election. I want him to win the election, not just because I picked him to win the election. I think he's far and away the best candidate and will be a much better president than Joe Biden will be. But, so, how do I view this? Well, I view it as, in the short range, a bad thing, because I think Trump was on the way to winning. I don't think there was any question he won the debate the other night. He dominated an old, pathetic Joe Biden. He was on his way to winning. Now this. How does this affect it? Well, the most likely scenario, and I don't think the statistics lie, he's simply going to get better, and sooner rather than later. Probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, he'll be back to normal. And at that point, I think he's going to win the election easily. Conquering the coronavirus, I believe, will give him that extra boost to, make him win rather easily. And all this other nonsense about mail-in ballots, and we don't know the night of the election who won, and we've got to count every vote. We got to drag this out for weeks. And maybe the Secretary of the States are going to have to certify different slates of electors, and we'll go into court and blah, 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 blah. And all this, they'll be fighting in the street with the children on our feet bullshit. That's all going to be tossed. None of that's going to happen because Trump will win easily. He's going to pull, the sympathy vote from people like my mother, who may not have voted for the guy otherwise, but now she feels sorry for him, so she'll vote for him, that sort of thing. So that's the most likely scenario. Now, if this guy gets sick, he ends up in the hospital, all that's kind of getting less and less likely. If this is a lingering illness that goes past election day, it'll be touch and go, and if he just gets sick and dies, well then it's over. Then that's your absolute worst case scenario. I couldn't think of a worst case scenario than that. That means all us anti-maskers, all us anti-lockdown people, just in overwhelming numbers, we're just going to be told to sit down, shut up, your orange king is dead, you must be silenced. We'll get Joe Biden in a landslide. Marxism to thundering applause will be voted in. Hand in your guns, hand in your whatever else, voting rights, right to assemble, right to go watch a kid at your band practice. I got a note from a Democrat who's upset that the Third Court of Appeals has upheld now Tommy the Commie's dictatorial prohibition on crowd sizes. Who wants to go watch his child in the band. I don't know, here's just a wild thought. vote Republican. That's just off the top of my head. But, what can you do there? So, if he dies, then it's over. That's about my worst case scenario. For some of you, you'll be, dancing in the streets. Hooray! Yeah, we get, socialized everything. I'm not going to congratulate you if you're happy about that. I'm not going to congratulate you at all. So, likely scenario, he'll get better. So that's what we're hoping for. Hoping for that. Get well soon, Mr. President. There. Get well soon, Mr. President. All right, on to the NFL. So let's see what we got here. Like I said, I pay money to see Nick Foles. He's the guy that the guy that was sent from God to bring us a Super Bowl here in Philadelphia. I don't know how else to say it. The worse this Eagle team plays, the more and more I'm convinced that 2017 season was just an outright miracle. Just an outright miracle. That team had no right winning that Super Bowl. They were underdogs in every game and somehow just won right through the playoffs and beat a very good Patriot team, almost an excellent Patriot team as a 5-point dog. I mean, it's just with a backup quarterback named Nick Foles. Just an outright miracle. So now here he is, and he's quarterbacking my wife's favorite team, the Bears. And he's a 2.5-point underdog at home. So, that's normal. That's no surprise there. Nick Foles, always the underdog. How do we see this going? Well, I'll tell you, Nick Foles is Superman when he wears the eagle green. When he doesn't wear the eagle green, that's kind of his Achilles heel. I mean, sometimes Jesus Christ is just a carpenter. So we're going to take the Colts here. We're going to take them for 2 stars. Think about this. Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator when Nick Foles walked on water in 2017. Nobody knows Foles better than Reich. Reich coaches the Colts. He knows what Foles likes to do, and he's going to be ready to take that away from him. So, Foles' record as a starting quarterback without the Eagles, not good. Not good. So, I'm going to be hoping to be wrong on this one. I am hoping that Nick Foles walks on water at Soldier Field at 1 o'clock on Sunday. I'm going to watch that game. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to watch it, but I'm going to find the TV where this game's on, and I'm watching this game. All right. Jaguars, Bengals. When we last saw Gardner Minshew, he was getting hammered by the Dolphins in a surprise upset. The Bengals, they were in a fist fight with the Eagles for a bad football fist fight for a tie. So now the Bengals are at home as 3-point favorites over the Jaguars. I don't see it. I don't see what the Bengals are doing deserving to be favored over the Jaguars. We'll take Minshew, I think maybe, look, the kid from LSU has looked good. I mean, he's looked real good, Burrow. But, this is still his, 4th game ever. And, he's favored. Win me a game before you're favored. With your, 2-14. Now it's 2-14-1. So, we'll take the Jaguars. All right, this one, as I've said before, we love Mike Zimmer in the barn. He's got a fantastic against the spread record, lost last week, but covered, and what do we care about? Covering. So, 0-3 Vikings versus 0-3 Texans, game's down in Houston. Absolute must win for both teams, so it's basically a get-out-of-town game. The Texans just haven't looked good. at all. You know, they played their big game at Pittsburgh. You know, that's probably what that half point's doing there, or that 3.5 points. Everybody thinks, well, they almost beat Pittsburgh. You know, did they really? The Vikings, they had a tough game against an excellent Tennessee team, and we're starting to think Tennessee's actually good. Yeah, that's actually a really good team. The Vikings, that game could have gone either way, went against the Vikings. We're just going to play this as Zimmer over O'Brien. We think O'Brien's vastly overrated. Vikings do what it takes to get this one done. Vikings. Seahawks, Dolphins. You know, it's tempting just to play Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson every game. You know, I think they are right now probably the likely matchup, you know, with the Chiefs. That just seems symmetrical to me. You know, you have two identical type quarterbacks in Mahomes and Wilson. But, see, I can spit out the barn door here. That's still legal, I guess, if the orange man dies. I'm sure they'll come up with some health code law where I'm not allowed to spit on my own property. So, get well soon, Mr. President. Where were we? Oh yeah, back at the Seahawks. Excellent team. But man, I mean, this is a long trip. You're coming off two tough, hard-fought wins over the Cowboys and then the Patriots. And now you're playing the Dolphins. You know, who gets up for the Dolphins? I kind of think the Dolphins are getting better. You know, and you know, there might be a nice 6 to 10 game window here where you can win some games here with the Dolphins if we're right. That they are actually getting better. You know, because they played really well last week, you know, against the Jacksonville. So, you know, there's two ways to look at that. Well, that was just a big heroic effort, and now they'll revert to who they really are, which is a bad team and they'll get hammered. Or, you know, they are actually starting to get better. You know, this guy Flores is covering numbers. This guy from the Patriots, he's kind of like, I know people off the Belichick, or coaches off the Belichick tree are not good, you know, typically. They just are overrated, don't fire, doesn't happen. This guy's almost like an afterthought off the Belichick tree, and, you know, he's getting it done. So, we're going to take the Dolphins here. You know, this might be a mistake, but we're going to take a shot here with the Dolphins. You're getting 6 points. I think the grass may slow down Wilson just a little bit, where take a little of the video game aspect of his offense out of the play, slow him down just a little bit. Maybe the Dolphins lose that game like, you know, 24-19 or something like that. You know, so this one, I don't know what to do here. This is just simply, just seems like the right thing to do. We're becoming Buccaneer fans. I thought they'd be overrated, but they do seem to be just a solid team. Yeah, they're going out, they're scoring points. Their spreads are pretty big. I mean, they're not squeaking by. 14 points here, 18 points there. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to treat the Buccaneers like we would the Patriots. You know, we're just going to expect this team to cover because Tom Brady is just as much a winner as Belichick is. So, they're playing the Chargers and they're only 6.5 point favorites. I don't see this. I mean, the Buccaneers played, the Buccaneers played the Panthers and beat them by a touchdown. They actually beat them by 2 touchdowns, but they should have beat them by a touchdown. Then the Panthers went out there and beat the Chargers. So to me, that means the Buccaneers are much better than the Chargers, more than 6.5. So I think this is an easy win for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, an easy win. West Coast games, Rams going home after a bad beat against the Bills. They were 28-3. They were behind, came back, took the lead And then the Bills just got shit lucky in the last drive and won. I watched the replay of that just now, and that was just shit luck. I mean, 3rd and 22, they pick it up. 4th and 9, phantom pass interference call. They pick it up. Go ahead, win the game. So, we're going to take a shot here with the Giants. I think this might be a little risky. Rams are a really good team, but they've had a lot of travel here, and this might be a spot where it's just a team that nobody's taking seriously, so they might just take the day off against the Giants. Giants, they're probably going to do well to get out of New York, stop reading the newspaper and listen to WFAN, get out on the West Coast. Who knows? That game against the 49ers should have been closer. There were some key flip plays that expanded that score more than it should have been. So we're going to take the Giants here to surprise. Maybe they lose by 10 points. That's our hope. All right, big games, big games. I said, I think in the last NFL video, that the Ravens and the Chiefs was the equivalent of the old 70s Steelers and Raiders. No. That's a mistake. This is. And in that analogy, the Patriots would be the Steelers. The Chiefs would be the Raiders. In other words, the Raiders took forever and a day to finally win their Super Bowl in the 70s, just like the Chiefs. The Patriots are the Steelers. They pile them up, every other year. Well, I tell you what, in those matchups, you always wanted the Steelers. You always wanted the Steelers. I'll have to make sure I send a link to my friend Jack, the Raiders fan. That'll upset him. But you always wanted the Steelers in those old Raiders-Steelers matchups, because the Steelers would always find a way. And that's kind of the way we're seeing this game. 7 points. I know, look, Andy is my pick for the Super Bowl. I think he will win the Super Bowl again. I think he has the best team. That doesn't mean on week 4 in what's generally hailed as a marathon-type NFL schedule that he's going to beat every last team and go undefeated. In this matchup between Reed and Belichick, whoever's the underdog, that coach, 8 wins, 2 losses. I don't see any reason to get off of that. We're going to take the Patriots here in Kansas City. We're going to take Belichick over Reed, 2 stars. Give me the touchdown. We'll take the Patriots. Okay, finally, Bills coming off that miracle, come from ahead, come from behind, free-for-all win last week where they got lucky. I don't know. I'm just looking at this, trying to simplify this. I don't think the Bills are all that much better than the Raiders. I kind of think the Raiders are just as good as the Bills are. The Bills are 3-0. The Raiders are 2-1. I'm missing a team here. The Raiders beat the Panthers. That's right. Well, that's no shame there. And that game was on the road too. I think these teams are pretty similar. And I'm getting 3 points. I'm kind of hoping for a repeat of when they hammered the Saints. It was kind of the same thing. It's like we're at home and we're underdogs, and they just pounded the Saints. So I'm kind of thinking the same thing here. Raiders, maybe there's still some of that good feeling laying around that new stadium from when they pounded the Saints. I'm hoping for that they, get their, there'll be a nice week for Gruden after that loss. He'll get to really chew on people and, make snarky, sarcastic comments to his players to try to motivate them. I think he'll be ready. I mean, this isn't the Patriots coming in here. This ain't the Chiefs. It's the Bills. They're just not as good as those other teams. And I think the Raiders are going to be ready. So that's what we got. We got to put a star on that. Don't like it that much. We only 1 star. So, I guess our big game, and I may be forcing this a little bit, putting a 3-star thing on a winless team. That feels a little aggressive. But otherwise, the Colts, we really like that one. The Buccaneers definitely like that. The Patriots, no doubt. and then you fill in with the rest. So there you have that. All right, get well soon, Mr. President. Get well soon, Mr. President. That's what we got for you. Let's enjoy our weekend of football. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. All right, good afternoon, good